Hi drummers, hope you're doing well. Just a quick one about the acoustic noise that electronic drum kits make. I'm very lucky here. I've got a beautiful drum tech electronic kit and get asked this sort of question a lot. And a viewer put this question really nicely today on YouTube. A viewer called YouTube Trailer Park. They say, "Hi Mike, I'm wondering if you live in an apartment." No, I don't. I live in a house. But that's not the important thing. If so, has your downstairs neighbour complained about any noise? My wife has mentioned it once or twice when she's working at home. I haven't set up my e-drums yet because I'm worried that the beating of the bass drum and the toms will create an unpleasant beating noise. I've had my drumming described as worse, to be honest. Not the drum sounds because I can wear headphones, but wondering if the beating on the drums causes vibration noise that can be heard below. Of course, it will be different depending on the construction of the building, but I'm wondering in general. So yes, the short answer is yes, it is extremely noticeable. I think sometimes people think, oh, electronic kit's great, it's going to be silent. It's definitely not silent. So this is my beautiful mesh-headed electronic drum kit made by Drum Tech. It still makes a noise, especially the kick drum. And the biggest thing, just like YouTube Trailer Park says, is it's the pedals. So I think the snare and the tom is probably not a huge deal if you're below. Probably depends, but generally not a big deal. But the pedals definitely. I think it's the bass drum, but I actually think one of the things that causes the biggest vibration is the hi-hat. I find if I'm doing, if there's anyone upstairs playing a bit of eighth notes on the hi-hat or something like that, or obviously double kick, then sure, those vibrations go through the floor. So obviously it's a lot better than smashing away on an acoustic kit if you're in an apartment or with somebody below you, but it's really worth considering. There are some things you could do to mitigate it, so you can place your kit on a thick rug. The main thing you would need to do if it was really an issue for the people below you, is in some way decouple the kit from the floor, because obviously the vibration is going through the floor. So you do see people making platforms like drum risers with so you get the kit right off the floor. I think there are commercially available products that do that kind of thing. People often put like tennis balls and things of that nature in between. Those are good solutions and can help, but they, in my experience, never solve the problem. So it's really worth thinking about. I would say if you're in an apartment, it's definitely worth thinking about. I've definitely had students over the years who actually did live in a flat at one point, and I had to make this kind of arrangement where the people below them, they talk to them, which is always a good way to do it, by the way. Always talk to people first, is my advice. They would arrange certain times where they'd play. They'd say, well, look, I'm working on my drumming. If you think, almost everybody, not everybody, but almost everybody is very reasonable if you go and talk to them, in a straightforward, reasonable way. And you say, look, I've got this thing in my life. I really love it. I'm working on it. I'm not just goofing off, like I'm working on a thing, a really cool, worthy thing that I'm building up in my life. I'm serious about it. I really love it. Not everybody, but most people really respond to that. And you'd say, look, okay, I've got, this period of time, perhaps when I get home, between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. like I'm going to play at those times, or whatever the case may be, whatever suits you. I used to live above a garage door, like showroom, like the showroom where people would come in and look at garage doors, and I made a time arrangement with them. Shout out to Access Garage Doors in South Croydon many years ago. And so that kind of arrangement could work. So it's just a really quick one to say that it's a really important point. Electronic drum kits, and this goes for mesh head kits, and even more so for like solid rubber silicon kits, they do make a noise. Yeah, there's no way around it. And it's not just a noise, it's the vibration through the floor. I'd say the pads that you hit with the sticks, yeah, a bit, but it's the pedals, the bass drum and the hi-hat. Yeah, they do make a noise. Any other solutions that people have, feel free to let me know. I'd be interested to know. Shout out to YouTube Trailer Park for asking that question. So it's a really important point. The best case scenario, I always think, is really worth saying this at this point, is you're playing on electronic kit at home, and you are playing on some kind of acoustic kit, I would say as well. So for all my best advice to my students, and I do this as well myself, and it's easy for me to say because I'm lucky, I've got great setups in both cases, is an electronic kit, perhaps at home when you're doing practice. If you're lucky enough to have an acoustic kit at home, brilliant. And then at least, like, I don't know, if you're serious about your drumming, at least once a week, at least every couple of weeks, you go somewhere where the acoustic kit is. In Cambridge, we're lucky there's a couple of great rehearsal studios where you can just go for an hour. There's a kit set up ready to go. You just hire the room and go nuts there. I'm very lucky in my case, of course. I've got my studio over at Wilburton in Cambridgeshire, where it's got 2 beautiful Cambridge Drum Company acoustic kits. I'm there a lot of the time, most days. So in an ideal world, both of these things are so great to practice on. There's so much you can do on an electronic kit, but the acoustic kit, the original and the best, and the feel of the thing, the way you can feel the bass drum when you play it, is just such a massive difference. So yeah, any solutions people have for electronic kits at home, for vibrations and stuff, let me know, or let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching as always. See